Hi, I'm Lin.
And I'm Leo. Welcome back to our channel, Yoga with Lin and Leo.
Yes, and today we're going to be adding another pose to our pose directory, Virabhadrasana II, a really good pose to keep your legs nice and agile, hips agile, and excellent for beginners.
Absolutely. So this is Warrior II pose. It is a beginner's yoga pose, but it's still quite a demanding action.
Challenging, yes. So if you find that your muscle fibre feels quite tight, that's normal, really. All right. So just standing in your Tadasana, your mountain pose. So be sure that you're grounding down to the earth side, spreading those toes and feeling the floor with the outer foot bones sharply moving down like blades. Moving back into your heel bones, being sure that those legs are moving back. So you have to see and train gradually over a period of time. The muscle fibre on the front of the thigh moves directly towards the bone side. And at the same time, to challenge that buttock skin and flesh to move deeply in. So the two work together to get that lovely lift through the centre of the body. Roll your shoulders back and down and see that you get the broadness from the collarbones, from the inner collarbones to the outer shoulders. So get ready to jump now. When you jump, bring some vitality into the body. Breathe and jump those legs nicely apart. And of course, if you do have injuries, bad knees, feet, backs, then do step the legs apart. So being in this position just for a few moments, being sure that you're sharpening that action on those outer foot bones. The key thing when you're preparing for some of these lateral poses is to keep those inner groins lifted. And to do that, you have to understand the action of the inner thighs. The inner thighs move away from one another to cultivate that top groin to have space so you can get that movement and rotation. So keep the chest lifted as you turn those feet now to your right side. So this front leg is really important when we start to bend the leg. So some of you who have already watched our recent video on Trikonasana, you will come with some of those points of moving this outer femur head deeply in. This needs to happen to keep this lift of the frontal hip flexor and this rotation of the front thigh. So all of these actions are adjustments which are necessary, which will improve your pose. Keep sharp in that back leg, and remember what I was saying about the groins. Make that space for the inner groin, so this inner thigh needs to move deeply, deeply in and away from the front leg. Okay, we're ready for the angle now. Take a breath in and bend that front leg. So when you bend the front leg, don't hold on to it. That buttock bone's got to go down to create lots of space for that thigh bone. So a really long bone. If you don't take that buttock down, this will happen. And this may be, if you're complete beginners, yes, and the buttock goes out. This is where you are at the moment, and then gradually, with a little bit of practice, consistently practicing on a regular basis, and then the thigh goes down, so you make that right angle. And look along those fingers, breathe. So try to take your attention to your breath. And now coming up out of the action and turning the feet. Turn your right foot in, your left foot out, and lifting up. And again, coming through those adjustments, those small subtleties which make a difference to the pose. So this outer femur head needs to move in. The lift from this front hip flexor and the rotation of the leg is really important to improve your pose. Lift your chest, breathe, sharpen that back leg. Remember making the space for that inner groin and bend into your angle. So again, this takes a lot of time to get this length for this thigh bone. Takes quite a bit of time to lower that buttock. Now remember, when you lower the buttock, there is a tendency, if you're a complete beginner, for this buttock to go out like that. If this happens, you're better off working against the wall to try to get proper alignment with this action. So keep that outer femur head moving in. If you're not sure where that is, then do a little bit of research and have a look at the skeletal body. Turn to look along those fingers and breathe. Take a few deeper breaths. Keep the chest lifted. I know it's hard work in the beginning, but see that you just maintain that for a few moments and then coming out of the pose. Turning the feet to face forward and then bringing those legs together. And recover. Recover in Tadasana. Don't be in a rush to come into another pose or your next pose. Just be here. Try and find that stillness and steadiness in your practice with Tadasana. Be sure that you move those thighs back and you engage with that. Lift through the center of the body, opening your chest and observing that slightly deeper breath, which we always get after we practice the standing asana practice. We hope you enjoyed practicing with us today.
Right, that is a beginner's yoga pose, but it's a tough one when we're doing it, for that length of time, holding the pose for that length of time. But remember, these standing poses are fundamental to your yoga practice. They develop the strength in your joints and your muscles, but also the mobility, the flexibility in the body.
Most definitely. And if you do find that you're holding the pose a bit too long, then come out of it and do it again.
Right. All right. Thank you for joining us today, and we hope to see you again soon. Namaste.
Namaste.